Good afternoon, everyone. This is Pamela Howard, and I am so excited to be coming to you with some information about pre planning. Um, why do you plan your own funeral? It's something to hear. It's something that we hear all the time. It's just one of the many reasons and questions that we're asked about making final arrangements in advance. So, here at Charlotte Memorial Gardens, we've been providing pre planning services to families for decades. However, the majority of the public little about the benefits of pre planning and exactly so, today for our show, we're going to be talking about some of those benefits and we're going to talk about the most popular questions that are typically asked when it comes to pre planning. We'll be right back. All right, guys. I am Pamela Howard. I am the estate family counselor. And right now I have with me my team member, Mr. Dominique Camps.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dominic Camps, once again, outreach specialist here at Charlotte Memorial Garden Cemetery.
All righty. So Dominique and I are really just going to get down to it. As I was stating prior to us getting started, is that people ask the question, why should we go ahead and start pre-planning for our own funeral? Like, people have this myth that it should be left up to someone else. But here at Charlotte Memorial Gardens, we've been providing pre-planning services, consulting, counseling for decades. And today we just want to actually talk about the main questions that we get here at our office in regards to pre planning. And we're going to shoot right through it. And I'm going to start with number one. So if you see me looking off, we actually took the time to actually write it out so that we could make notes. If anyone is on live, we thank you for joining us live. Those that may be catching us on the replay, definitely put your comments in. Tell us where you're viewing us from. We're looking to build relationships with local churches, funeral homes here in the Charlotte region. And we would love to be able to help you service your families there and your communities as well. So, the first question we get a lot is, why should I pre plan my final arrangements? Why should I pre plan my final arrangements? Well, I can tell you one major reason why you should plan your pre-plan your final arrangements, and that's because it will eliminate financial logistics stress. Just stress, basically. You won't have to worry about any type of stress. So planning your funeral and final arrangements in advance frees your family from financial and logistic stress of having to do it themselves. If you think about it, if I want to recap on last week's topic, one of the things we talked about was having to deal with the stress of having to take care of someone's final wishes. You're already stressed and grieving that you've lost a loved one, and to have to worry about the burden of the finances of that lost loved one along with the logistics that come with it is just additional stress that you really, if you think about it, you don't really want to put your family to that if you really sit and think about it. If all they had to deal with is just grieving over you and the fact that they've lost you to go to a better place, that would be enough. So, any other facts would you like to add to that, Dominic, about why should you pre-plan for your final arrangements?
Actually, yes, and you brought it up that we touched on it last week, but I kind of want to re-emphasize just how number one, financial stress, right? The last thing you want to have to deal with is all these numbers, all of this data and all this information, right? You're in
Mm-hmm.
a very emotional state. So
Mm-hmm.
once again, the last thing you want to do in such an emotional state is be given this large chart of all these things that you have to pay. You have to pay for this, you have to pay for that. All of this is due on the spot, blah, 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 blah. If you pre-plan, everything's taken care of. So like Miss Howard just said, all you have to do is just worry about the getting over the emotional part of it. You don't
Mhm,
have to deal with the finances because it's already taken care of because you pre-planned.
mhm. Nothing's worse than making a decision based on your emotions. So if sometimes people have emotional eating habits, some people have emotional spending habits, and a lot of times that happens, and people will take advantage of that. You
Absolutely.
overspending when you're in an emotional state because you're thinking about, you just lost this person, so you want the best for this person, and you just, money is no limit. And then after it's all said and done, and you've had an opportunity to recollect your mind and your thoughts, and you're like, wow, I really, really overspent. Pre plan so you don't have to make emotional decisions. At the end of the day, we as professionals are going to carry out your wishes on behalf of your loved one's final wishes. And so we want you to be able to make that decision with a clear mind, with very little emotional from a loss, and so that you're making a sound mind decision. um, and just removing this burden from your family's shoulders, it's going to give them a priceless gift. It'll give them a priceless gift of time and space to just grieve. Grieving, sometimes people look at that as a negative, but grieving is actually a healthy thing to do. It gives you an opportunity to just really deal with the situation at hand and let out all your feelings, your sadness, because what I've seen is when people try to hold that in and not grieve, then it takes to a different step. That's a whole nother topic. We're not going to get into that, but we're going to go into question number two. Um, is it funeral planning for older people? I know I get that question a lot when people come by and it was like, I want to do it for my grandma, or my mom's getting up in age, but we as you don't think about it for ourselves. So the question we get is it just for older people? And my answer is, what's my answer, Dominic?
Nope.
No. So the best time to just pre-plan for your funeral is when you're vibrant and healthy. That's the best time to plan for it, believe it or not. Not when you're feel like you're on your deathbed, or you have an illness that you don't think you're going to actually be able to get rid of. To actually be that is not the time to actually be planning. So you want to do it while you're vibrant, while you healthy, have a clear head on your shoulder, no pressure, no illnesses, no circumstances. The best time to pre-plan is now. Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Dominic?
Actually, I do have a couple comments. And one thing we've seen here at Charlotte Memorial Gardens is when people leave this world, you don't have to be 80 years old. We've seen people my age leave here, and their parents are coming in and they're having to make their arrangements for their children. Well, like the question, well, isn't this pre-planning just for older people? Old people are not the only ones that are passing. Young people are passing as well, whether it's out of natural causes, whether it's out of tragedy. We're all leaving this world one day, myself included. We all need to pre-plan, and I can pre-plan whatever I want to do while I'm healthy in my youth, like Miss Howard stated. So this is for everyone. This is for you and I.
Well said. With that statement, we're going to go on to question number three that we get. How can I be sure my wishes will be carried out? You want to take that one over, Dominique?
Absolutely. So when you complete your final wishes and you organize all your paperwork, a permanent file is actually kept in a very safe place at the office that you would be at. So upon your death, a funeral director will share your detailed wishes with your family. So they don't have to come up with anything on the spot. Well, we think they would have liked that. We think they would have did this. Everything's already done. You've already decided what you wanted to do because you pre-planned. So your family wouldn't come up with anything that they think you might have wanted. You handled all of that before. You've taken care of it and it's already taken care of.
And that is exactly right. And that reminds me, this is a perfect time to share a quick giveaway. And I'm getting the giveaway out because I want to show everybody that's viewing here. So we have this beautiful Final Wishes planner. This is it
Mm-hmm.
here. It's a Final Wishes planner. And for anyone that actually is with us live or anyone that actually catches this on the replay, I thought this was a perfect opportunity to just gift you this Final Wishes planner. All you have to do is stop by our office, which is located at 7632 Hood Road, or you can actually call our office and make an appointment if you want more information. But this Final Wishes planner, I've had people come in here with this Final Wishes planner, and they have just been like, this really helped me. Like, I've had children who have lost their parents. And when I say children, they're adults, but they've lost their parents and they have this Final Wishes planner. And they're just like, I thought I had everything until I located this Final Wishes planner. And my mother, my father had everything in here. They literally walked in here, handed me this book, and they could just focus on grieving their loved one. They didn't have to worry about anything. So I'm happy to give this away. We will be giving this away. All you got to do is click like and share this video, and make in the comments just say, I want my free Final Wishes planner. And we will reach out to you and let you know how you can come by and pick this up. No strings attached, no purchases attached. It's just an opportunity for us to serve you and give you some security on how to pre plan for your final wishes. All righty.
Absolutely.
We're going on down to question number 4. What if I move after making my arrangements? What if I move after making my arrangements? Well, changing over a pre planning policy to another funeral home or town in another state is actually quite simple. So we call this the policy holder owns their policy, or we call it a deed, okay? It's just like a deed to your house. And the only thing we would need is to inform um, the new cemetery of what's going on. You can actually transfer your deeds over there. There may or may not be some cost and factor. I want to say if you are, I think it's if you're planning on moving and you're about, I think it's 30 or 50 miles away from your current property, then it's just a matter of doing like a transfer, really. So you're not losing anything. So that should not stop you from pre planning for your final wishes. I can tell you that another question that actually ties in this, but is not on our sheet today, is that, some people don't want to do it because I'm young and I may get married and I don't know what my future husband might want to do. But again, if that happens, you have, just look at it like a house, okay? When you purchase a home, it's not necessarily your forever ever home, okay? Some people have starter homes. Some people don't start off with their forever home. So this doesn't have to be your forever final wishes place. It may start off being that way, but once you've paid it, you get a deed to it just like you would to your house. And if you decide it's time to look for your forever home, it's the same thing with your property here for your final wishes. Say, you know what, I've got married, or I'm relocating because of my job, and now I'm going to have my forever final wishes location, and you just do that transfer. Easy peasy. It really is. A little paperwork, and that's it. Every plan is protected with insurance, so you can have peace of mind knowing your investment is safe. Right? Let's go to question 5, Dominique.
So, how much does a funeral cost? And
Hmm.
listen, the cost of a funeral actually varies widely because of the wishes of the individual.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's unique, right? Everybody differs. All families are different. And you have to factor in, it depends on the type of service you want to do. Some people want to do cremation, some people want burial, traditional burial services. You have preparations, you have embalming, you have the visitation, the viewing, you have the actual funeral or memorial service, you have the graveside service, and you have the transfer of the deceased to the funeral home. These are
Mhm.
all fees. All of these are fees, and a lot of this stuff is going to be due upfront when something inevitably does happen. So once again, importance of pre-planning. You take care of this while you're here, while you can do it. This doesn't become a stressor or a burden for your family members because you're taking care of it now.
Absolutely. And and by planning ahead of time, you can save your family significant amount of money, whether it's a small service or a large community gathering. This is the time to actually put in writing or actually contract what it is you want your final wishes to look like. So now is a better time to do it than ever. All right. We're going on to number 6, and we just have just a few more questions after that. Other questions that we get a lot of is, are there payment plans for pre-planning? Absolutely. And I will say this, every cemetery and every funeral home is very different. But again, as an advocate here at Charlotte Memorial Gardens, we have several payment option plans to make it a comfortable experience, financial experience for you. So just to name a few, there's interest free options, there's extended payment options up to 60 months. And there's also, automatic draft options. There's so many different options that we can offer our clients so that they can get the best financial experience, as well as getting the best overall peace of mind as they're securing and taking care of their final wishes as well. All right. Anything else you can say about that?
Some people have it and some people don't. And one thing about pre-planning is when you pre-plan, like Miss Howard said, you can do everything on payment plans. That's
Mhm.
one number one question I get when people call me here at the office is, can I do payments or do I have to pay it all at one time? Well, because you're pre-planning, you can do payments. And the payments, like she said, everything varies. We can fit almost all different kinds of situations by pre-planning.
This triggers my mind. In our We had our weekly team meeting today, and one of the questions that was brought up was, how can we support our families that have insurance that want to use it? Well, let me tell you this. Now, when you're pre-planning, insurance is really, um, I like to say insurance is for the living. Okay. When you're deceased, it really has no value to you, and you can only actually use it after someone has passed away. So if you have an insurance policy and you specifically got that insurance policy because you want to use it for your final wishes planning, well, you won't be able to use it as a pre-need, unfortunately. But we actually can uh, we actually can use it when the actual time occurs and get an
Hmm.
authorization so that can help take offset some of those experiences. So when you're pre-planning and you have decided to pre-plan and contract with payments, if those payments haven't been satisfied by that time, this is an opportunity for the insurance to actually finalize everything else. Okay. All right. Number, what number we on? Number 7.
Yes, number 7.
What if I'm not sure what I want? I definitely get that question a whole lot. I'm not quite sure. Just the other day, I was visiting, well, not visiting, but I had a client that come in, and she knew what she didn't want, but she didn't really know specifically what she wanted. So that is a question that we get. And, as a member of our pre planning team, we will guide you through all the options that you have. We don't want to overwhelm you with anything, but we can definitely show you how you can protect your family. We can create a budget for you, and you can have time to think about all those details and make a decision without feeling rushed. Okay. I'm going to go to number 8, Dominique.
So, number 8, does pre-planning cover cremation? Well, the answer is yes, actually. We encourage all people that want to be cremated to also pre plan, make these advanced arrangements, okay? Even simple cremation plans include very important decisions that need to be made. Pre planning will also make sure that the financial responsibilities are taken care of, as well as, once again, ensuring that your final wishes are very clear and very well orchestrated. So whether it's traditional burial, whether it's cremation, whether it's mausoleum, it doesn't really matter. Pre-planning is pre-planning. It's about what you want. It's about what your expectations are for your final wishes.
And I just want to add in there, I've heard this statement, not so much a question, but I've heard this statement. I'm just going to be cremated and I'm just going to have my ashes just thrown somewhere. Well, that's illegal. That is illegal. And now I'm
Very.
not saying that the cremation police is out there trying to see where you're putting your ashes or they're checking, but it is illegal. But one thing the reason why I really brought that up is because people don't think about, they think about what they want, and we want, and as their family member you want to carry out their wishes. But one of the things that I have learned that most people don't think about when they're preparing their cremation final wishes is they don't take time to consider how the loved ones they're leaving behind may want to memorialize them, meaning that if you're in your mindset you want to be cremated and just tossed somewhere, then when your birthday comes, or maybe it's your wife or your husband and your anniversary comes up, they want to have a place where they can come and actually, one, memorialize you, and then think about the good times and just pay respects on your behalf. So, you know, not against those that won't be that want to be cremated, but I want to give you just food for thought. Think about how you may want to be memorialized as well. There's so many options with cremations. It's very, very popular these days. You can actually still be buried in your property. That is a
Hmm.
possibility. And you can also be entombed in a mausoleum as well. Some people keep the ashes of their significant other or their spouse, and then when it comes time for them to be passed away, they decide to be buried together, and that is definitely an option. And that final wishes planner, that's where you want to put those informations like, I want to be cremated but I don't want to be buried or entombed until my husband passes, and then we have decided that we're going to be entombed together, or we're going to be interned together in the ground. So think about that, because you may have a child, you may have a sibling, you may have nieces and nephews, and they may want to come visit and pay their respects. And if you're just going to have in your mind to be tossed away, so I just wanted to give you food for thought. Not too long winded on that, but just food for thought. All right. We're getting down to the last two questions and then we're going to be ending this live. So, number 9, won't my veteran benefits pay for my funeral costs? And the answer to that is possibly. Couldn't give you a yes, and I couldn't give you a no. So, what I can share with you on this is that I do know that there is a designated um, cemetery for veterans, okay? And I'm not 100% on how that process works, but I believe depending on your ranking, depending on how you served as a veteran, will determine what will be free and what will not be free. Here at Charlotte Memorial Gardens, people that want to have their final wishes resting place here at our park, um, we can help you set up a free bronze here is what we can do for you here. The veterans office will definitely support that if you have a DD 214 form and you left with an honorable discharge. So that's just one little tip. Are there more benefits than that? Yes. It's really just going to be contingent on your ranking and how you served, and whether you want to be in a non-veteran park or whether you want to be in an actual veteran park. Okay. And I'm gonna let you take this away. Number 10, Dominique.
So, number 10, the last and final question. Won't life insurance companies pay for my funeral costs? Well, here's the thing. Life insurance policies exist to help families shoulder the financial burden that can come along with losing a loved one. And actually,
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Howard touched a little bit on life insurance just a little while ago. Now,
Yep.
when using a life insurance plan for funeral costs, most funeral homes will actually use a third party to extrapolate all of the funds, thereby incurring additional fees from the third party. Other unexpected complications can arise though. This is what can happen. Sometimes life insurance policies they lapse, right? Sometimes, beneficiaries that are listed might also be deceased, or, the date or cause of death limiting benefits, just to name a couple. So complications can delay or cancel benefits being paid to families. Now, by pre-planning, you're pre-planning, you're prepaying for the funeral, you're prepaying for your interment and all of that. So your family never has to pay out of pocket, and payment for your funeral is absolutely guaranteed because you already took care of it. A lot of issues arise once people have passed away. All kinds of secret hidden things just come out. You're already emotional, you have to deal with finances, and now you have to deal with that too. Well, you won't. Your family won't because you already took care of it.
Absolutely. So these are the top 10 questions that we get. So while you're considering and thinking about preparing for your final wishes, we hope that this live actually helped you be more insightful about what it takes and how important it is to think about your final planning wishes. And if you have any more questions or if you would like to learn more about pre planning, or if we didn't get an opportunity to answer any burning question that you may have, you can always contact our office at 704 536 2374. We welcome walk ins, but we really appreciate a scheduled appointment just so that we can make sure that all of our attention is on you without any interruptions. So, this has been another weekly Wednesday. Um, I don't forget the name of this has been another weekly facts on Wednesday with Charlotte Memorial Gardens. I am your estate family counselor. I'm all messed up today. I'm your estate family counselor, Pamela Howard.
Dominic Kemps, your outreach specialist. Once again, if you need anything, you give us a call and we'll do the best we can for you.
All right, you all have a great day and just know that we're happy to serve. All right, take
Goodbye,
care.
everyone.